The first basic stance of Aikido is Kamae. In Kamae, the right foot or left foot is facing forward in the Hanmi position. Kamae is not only a posture, but teaches the correct spirit of Aikido and shows the state of one's mind. If your Kamae is correct, then your mind is correct. The Kamae position is the same as if holding a sword in the Seigan no Kamae posture. Let us now look at the Migi Hanmi Kamae position. Sliding forward with the right foot, which is followed by the left, the hands move into the Kamae position. The feet are positioned along the center line of the body at approximately 1.5 shoulder widths apart. The toes are pointed outwards with the back foot slightly more angled than the front foot. The front knee is relaxed and the back leg is straight and strong. The weight distribution is 60-40 with 60% of the weight on the front leg and 40% on the back. The hands should be along the center line of the body with the top hand at chest level and the bottom hand in front of the stomach. The fingers should be spread strongly and the elbows should be in the shape of a sword. The left hand should be one fist away from the body. The chin should be tucked in with the power in the neckline and the back is straight. Your concentration should be projected forward and you should be looking straight ahead. To return to a standing position, move from the back leg. For Hidari Hanmi Kamae, the movements are the same with the feet and the hands reversed. When doing Kamae with a partner, the movement should be controlled and in unison. The movement should start and finish together with a distance of 6 feet between the two partners. You should focus on your partner's eyes, but you must be able to see his whole body. If both partners have the same foot forward, it is Ai Hanmi Kamae. If both partners have the opposite foot forward, it is Gyaku Hanmi Kamae. Seiza-ho, the way of sitting, is a basic form of moving from Kamae to a sitting position in a strong, concentrated manner. From Kamae, the hips move in a straight line down to the mat. The back knee is behind the heel of the front foot. Pull the front leg back so both knees are on the mat, while at the same time the hands move to a position on the hips with both toes up. Push forward by using the toes and hips and push your knees forward, then sit in Seiza. In Seiza, the distance between the knees is 1 fist. The left big toe is slightly crossed over the right. To return to a standing position, the hips are raised and the knees are pulled back with the toes up. The motions of returning to Kamae are the reverse of moving from standing to sitting. The body must be strong and balanced throughout the movement, with no movements to the side or forward. Don't let your concentration waver. When doing Seiza-ho with a partner, the movements must be in unison in a strong, concentrated manner. In preparing for Sawariwaza techniques, both partners shuffle in and move to the Seiza position together while maintaining the proper distance and correct attitude. To have a strong Kamae, seizoho, and basic movements, it is very important in Aikido to have a correct bow. During practice, reiho is a way of projecting your mind forward and showing respect to your partner. The bow is just as important as Kamae, seizoho, and the basic movements. To perform the standing bow, keep the chin tucked in and the back straight. Bend forward from the hips without lowering the head. To perform a seated bow, tilt forward from the hips without curving the back. Place your hands in front of the knees and form a triangle with your fingers and thumbs. Perform the bow by bending your elbows and while keeping your back straight and not allowing your head to drop, bow to your partner. To return to seiza, straighten your elbows, then return to a sitting position while your hands naturally slide up your thighs to the seiza position. Shikko is the basic way of moving on your knees and is used in sawariwaza techniques. If your shikko is strong, you will be able to move in a sitting position freely and naturally, and it helps develop strong legs and hips. In Aikido, there are many sitting techniques in the basic curriculum. From a seated position with the toes up, the knee is pushed forward and then pushing from the hips, push the trailing knee forward. The body faces forward and you must look straight ahead while moving forward with the knees pointing forward. The heels must stay together as you move and quickly pull the trailing leg as you move. Relax your shoulders and keep your hands on your hips. Don't move your hips up and down, but keep your weight down. When making a big step forward in sawariwaza techniques, as your knee moves forward, kick strongly from your toes and hips and slide on your knees. When moving backwards, make small circles with your toes and don't lift your knees. This movement will help you improve your turning and pivoting motions in sawariwaza. If you can perform smooth sawariwaza techniques, it will become much easier to perform strong standing techniques. In Yoshinkan Aikido, different from other forms of Aikido, the most important movements are the 6 basic body movements. The basic movements of Yoshinkan Aikido were developed to teach the correct position of the body in relation to the basic techniques. By repeating the basic movements over and over, the legs and hips become very strong, yet relaxed and flexible. Then, when you practice the basic techniques of Yoshinkan Aikido, your hands, legs, and hips are in the correct position, and you'll be able to concentrate your power in your whole body. These 6 basic movements are very important in Yoshinkan Aikido and are the base from which we learn the basic techniques. Taino Henku Ichi is the basic movement used when the bottom hand is grasped and pulled. In practice, it teaches us to move from a Kamae position strongly forward using the opponent's pulling power. If you observe this movement from the front, the hands move in a circular forward motion. If the movement is observed from the side, it is a sliding forward motion. The back foot moves in front of the front foot and continues moving in a diagonal direction forward with the toes sliding on the mat. The toes move in an S-shaped movement with the front foot moving forward and the back leg following the front. The front foot is pulled back along the same line to return to Kamae. The left hand moves in a circular motion to meet the right at chest level. Then both hands continue to move in a circular motion forwards. The hands finish with both hands palm up, with the left hand at forehead height and the right hand at chest height. The eyes should follow the line of the left hand. The hands, legs, and hips should all move in unison, with both arms parallel. When doing Tai no Henko Ichi with a partner, shuffle in together in Aihanmi Kamae, and your partner grabs your bottom hand and pulls. As Uke pulls and moves diagonally backwards, Shite shuffles in. The back foot moves forward in an S movement diagonally and a forward angle and finishes between Uke's legs. The Uke should try not to clash with Shite during the movement, but should bend backwards. This movement, if done as a technique, becomes Sokume ni Riminage. Tai no Henko ni is a basic movement used when Uke grabs the top hand and pushes. Tai no Henko ni teaches a strong turning forward motion from Kamae. Although the pivoting motion can be at any angle, the pivot for Tai no Henko ni is at 95 degrees, which is the smallest movement required to break Uke's balance. This movement is used for practicing a strong body position when turning. The front foot turns slightly and the back leg pivots 95 degrees in a large arc. The back foot slides along the mat with the back leg strong, ensuring that the hips stay square and do not overturn. To return to Kamae, the back leg moves along the same line as the pivoting movement. The hands move in a circular motion, finishing in front of the body in line with the hips. Both hands should be palm up, with the top hand at the chest level and the bottom hand at the stomach. Even though this is a pivoting motion, the front knee must have a feeling of moving forward. To perform Tai no Henko ni with a partner, the person performing the movement faces his partner in Hidari Gaku Hami Kamae. Uke grabs Shite's left hand and pushes. Shite moves with Uke's push and performs a pivoting motion. Uke must keep contact with Shite's hand, and Uke must keep his elbow and shoulder relaxed. Uke moves diagonally forward as Shite pivots. To return to the starting position, Shite and Uke must move in unison. This movement becomes a technique as shown. Tai no Henko Renzoku Dosa is a way of practicing body movement in a continuing motion. Shite turns 180 degrees with both legs strong, finishing in a Gyaku Hami position. Shite then cross steps back and performs the other side. This movement is practiced with both sides continuously. Tai no Henko Kaiten Dosa is a movement where Shite performs a 180-degree pivot. shuffles to the side, steps under Uke's arm and cross steps back to face Uke in the opposite Kamae. This movement is also performed continuously. Hiriki no Yosei Ichi is a basic movement representative of raising the sword and cutting with the returning motion. As the body moves forward, the sword is raised, and as the body moves back, the sword cuts. This movement practices using the breath, hands, and hips and legs in a strong concentrated movement. Moving forward from the front foot, the foot slides forward with the knee finishing in front of the toes. The back leg follows the front leg so the weight is forward. To return to Kamae, the back leg pulls back first without raising the heel and the front foot is pulled back to a strong Kamae. The front knee should be strong yet flexible with the body weight forward. The back leg should be strong with the knee straight. The hands are raised along the center line of the body in a circular motion with the fingers spread. The top hand is slightly diagonal at forehead level and the bottom hand is at nose level. To perform this movement with a partner, Uke moves to a Gyakuhami position facing Shite on an angle. Uke grabs strongly with the left hand palm up and the right hand palm down. The hands should be equally strong. As Shite raises his hands, Uke releases his left hand but stays in contact with Shite's elbow. The right hand should continue to grasp strongly. Uke should move in unison with Shite's power, both forward and backwards from a strong Kamae. Hiriki no Yosei Ni is the basic movement for learning how to transfer the body weight from one leg to the other while raising and lowering the hands. To prepare for the Hiriki no Yosei movement, turn from Kamae on the toes and slide the front foot forward so that your body moves forward and down. At the same time, your left hand is in Kamae and the right hand moves beside the right hip. When shifting your weight, turn on your toes while keeping the hips on the same level. The knees move in a circular motion. The movement of transferring your weight and turning your hips must be in unison. The hands circle up in unison with the hip movement. When the hands are raised, it is the same as Hiriki no Yosei Ichi. The hands, legs, hips must move in unison. When practicing this movement with a partner, the Uke grasps Shite's arm as in Hiriki no Yosei Ichi. When Shite shifts his weight down and forward, Uke follows. When Shite shifts his weight back and forth, Uke must also shift his weight. When the hands are lowered, Uke looks at the back of Shite's head, and when the hands are raised, Uke looks at Shite's hands. Hiriki no Yosei Ni is used in this way in the technique. The Shumatsu Dosa movement has a strong relation with the Shihonage technique. This movement represents raising a sword and turning in 4 directions, which is the first basic technique of Yoshinkan Aikido. This is a way of practicing smooth, continuing movement from one position to another. Sliding forward on an angle, the body is lowered. The back foot then makes a big sliding movement straight forward and the body moves even lower. The weight then shifts to the other leg and the former front foot is pulled strongly into the Kamae position. Moving forward from the front foot, the body moves into a strong low posture. Both hands move in unison with the forward movement, finishing in front of the body and at chest height. The elbows are pointing down and the palms of the hand are slightly angled downwards. As the back foot moves forward, the hands circle up to the forehead in unison with the movement of the body. As you shift your weight, the hands are raised over your head shoulder width apart. As the front foot moves forward, the hands cut down to shoulder height, then return to Kamae. The whole body moves from a high position to a low position, to a high position, then back to a low position, creating a strong, flowing forward movement. When doing this movement with a partner, start from Aihami Kamae. This practice is to unify Shite and Uke's ki power. Uke grabs Shite's hands parallel from the front. Shite and Uke move together and Uke tries not to interfere with Shite's movement and power. The Shumatsu Dosa movement is used in the Shihonage technique. Shumatsu Dosa ni is a turning motion related to when your opponent grabs your hands and pushes. Turning on the front foot, the back foot pivots strongly 180 degrees. When shifting your weight, the back leg is strongly pulled into Kamae position, then the front foot moves strongly forward, then returns to Kamae. The hands move in a circular movement. The top hand becomes the bottom hand, and the bottom hand becomes the top hand. The top hand is at forehead height and the bottom hand is palm up at chest height. Both hands move together to a raised position, then cut down to shoulder height. The whole body moves from a high position into a low position, then a high position, then back to a low position, creating a strong flowing movement. When doing this movement with a partner, start from Yakuhami Kamae. Uke grabs as in Shumatsu Dosa Echi. Uke moves in such a way as not to interfere with Shite's movement. The hand which moves to the forehead must be inside Uke's hand for Shite's movement. This movement becomes the basic Shihonage technique as in Shumatsu Dosa Ichi. Kihon Dosa Renzoku is a way of practicing all 6 basic movements in a continuing motion, usually in accordance with a counting motion or cadence. The movements of Aikido are based on the sword. If you do the Kihon Dosa Renzoku with a sword, the movements become like a sword movement. Ukemi is a way of protecting your body when thrown. You must learn to minimize the shock to your body. In Yoshinkan Aikido, the basic Ukemi are Zenpo or forward Ukemi and Koho or backward Ukemi. Koho Ukemi is a basic breakfall of Yoshinkan Aikido. It teaches us to protect the most important part of our body, our head. From a standing position, lower the hips. The hands are in a position ready to slap the mat. The rear end is placed close to the heels and the back is curved when rolling back onto the mat. At the same time, slap the mat strongly with your hands. If you practice Koho Ukemi repeatedly, your neck and stomach muscles will become stronger. Koho Ukemi is used when practicing the Shihonage and Iriminage techniques. For Iriminage techniques, you take a step in the direction you will be thrown, then sit down next to your foot. As you hit the mat, turn away from shite, then stand up. For Shihonage techniques, when you are thrown, drop your hips, then do a Koho Ukemi.